يا الطارش يا لمعنا خط بكتابك الترحيب لو سرابك ليلك وجنة بالدجا في الليل تسري.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, today is our weekly class, Fundamentals of Tawheed, and we are talking about the prophecies. Today's prophecy is talking about the strangeness of the deen, غربة al-Islam, how this deen started as something strange to the people, appeared to them as a strange because they deviated from the right path. So now someone is calling them to bring them to the right track. So they consider this new call as something strange. And before we elaborate on this beautiful hadith, I would like to share with you, my dear brothers and sisters, and to draw your attention that we are travelers. We are traveling to our destination. And normally, any traveler will prepare himself for the journey and will make himself familiar with the things that he is going to come across on the way. So he has a map, so he knows after this number of kilometers there will be gas station or petrol station where he can refill his car. He knows that there will be also hotels on the way. So he knows everything about his journey, his trip. He will not start just hit the engine of his car and go on the motorway without knowing anything. This is what we do when we are traveling. So we should know our way. So we will not be surprised, no surprises. We know exactly what we expect to have and what we are going to come across. And we take all our precautions, all precautionary measures we take. This is what we do as human beings. Now, how about our journey to the Akhirah? Do we know our way to the Akhirah? Do we know what are the things that we will face and come across so that we will not be surprised because we already prepared ourselves for such issues and for such obstacles or such hardships or such problems? We are already prepared because we know exactly what is going to happen. But unfortunately, many of us, my dear brothers and sisters, they don't know what is waiting ahead. And many, they think it is a rosy way, it's a path, way full of roses. They don't know there are hurdles. They don't know there are obstacles in the way. Because this is the way to the Jannah. So it will not be an easy way. Because the Jannah, as you know, has been surrounded with hardships, and the hellfire with desires and lusts. So the way to the Jannah is full of obstacles. And it is the only way, and we have to go through all these hardships and obstacles. Because Allah tests our iman. So you should not be surprised and go back on your heels and leave al-Islam. Oh, I was not expecting this. No, I don't want al-Islam. And this is what happens. You see people go back. They don't know that this is the way. This is the way to the Jannah. Because life is a test. It's not honey and milk or bed of roses. No. So let us go through this hadith. That talks about this strangeness of the deen when it started and the hardships the early Muslims faced, the early strangers. But remember, despite all this strangeness and being stranger, the reward is so great. The reward is the Jannah. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم بدأ الإسلام غريبا وسيعود كما بدأ فطوبى للغرباء رواه مسلم. In another narration, وسيعود غريبا كما بدأ فطوبى للغرباء. The meaning, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported that he heard Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, Islam began as a strange religion, gharib, strange in the life of Quraysh and the Arabs, because the Arabs drifted away from the true Islam. So now he's calling them to the deen of their father, Ibrahim alayhi salam, al-Islam, the monotheistic creed. So to them appeared something new, strange. Islam began as a strange religion, deen, and will return to the state in which it began. And this is a prophecy. Then blessed will be, and blessed will be the strangers reported by Muslim. So let us now pause and reflect on this beautiful hadith. Imam Abu Rajab al-Hanbali, rahimahullah, he has a small booklet talking about the strangers. And he said Islam started as strange deen in the life of the Arabs, but then it grew. It grew, and all Arabia became Muslims. So that was the initial state of it, only as people felt it is something strange. Small, started with small group of Muslims, as you know, who were sitting in the house of Ibn al-Arqam. But then this deen grew and developed. And a state, Islamic state, was built in Medina. And Islam came out from Arabia and spread all over the place. So that was the early strangeness, al-ghurbatul ula, first strangeness. So started strange, then it dominates and spread. بدأ الإسلام غريبا. So when you feel today you are a stranger at home, among your family, you are a stranger, they look at you, you are living on another planet. You are not living in our age. Your way of thinking is totally different. Wake up, see, life has changed. This is what you feel at home. You talk to your children, maybe they will just keep quiet. And then when you leave, they talk to each other. He is still living in the Stone Age. Miskeen, our father. The same thing, your wife. She doesn't stand and support you. You tell her, help me. We need to bring up the children. She tells you, you know, this is the time. We cannot. Instead of standing on your side, supporting you, she facilitates and she helps her children to enjoy what they like, the haram. So you feel you are alone at home, alone, stranger at home, stranger in the office. Wherever you go, you are a stranger because you are abiding by Islam. You are biting the Sunnah with your molar teeth. You are holding hot coal in your hand. And you can not find someone to back you, to support you, to help you. All those strangers are scattered, one in this city, one in another city. And you are living in this ocean of Muslims by name, who are far away from the deen. So this is the second phase of the strangeness of the deen. Don't you see the strangeness of the deen? Muslim women naked, and it's okay. It's okay. Your daughter to show her belly button. It's okay. You don't feel anything. It's okay. No hijab. You don't feel. It's normal. It's normal. People are leaving. People are not practicing. Now you want to talk to them. They're not ready. They don't want to listen. Oh, he came to spoil our gathering. He's going now to start preaching to us. So this is what the Prophet ﷺ is talking about. بدأ الإسلام قريبا وسيعود قريبا كما بدأ وسيعود كما بدأ قريبا. So Islam started as strange deen to the people, then it grew, and it will return, but then it will grow again. There will be a revival. Muslims, they will come. Yes? There will be hardships. There will be prices for spreading the deen. There will be bloodshed, lives lost, but these are insignificant sacrifices for the sake of Allah. Nothing. To sell your life for Allah's deen, the sake of Allah's deen, is nothing. Because Allah has purchased our lives. Ishtara min Allah. Allah purchased our lives. So the way, not easy, but there will be sacrifices, but the deen will prevail again, will grow again. وسيعود كما بدأ فطوبى للغرباء. طوبى, a tree in the Jannah for the strangers, or the Jannah itself. And if you have a tree in the Jannah, that means you are going to be in the Jannah. Then the Prophet ﷺ, he described those strangers, those brothers and sisters who are trying their level best to practice the deen. Sisters are facing hardships, difficulties to put on their niqab. At home, they're against it. Even the hijab at home, they're against it. And there are many murtad, many apostates who left Islam, and they advocate and preach that hijab is not obligatory, it's not fard, it's not part of the deen. As long as you are modest and chaste and that is in your heart, this has nothing to do. Remove your hijab, no problem. It's okay. So there are callers for this, calling the Muslim women to leave the deen, to leave al-Islam. So here the Prophet ﷺ is giving this good news and glad tidings for the strangers. So Tuba lil-ghuraba. And he described the ghuraba. He said, النزع من القبائل. نزع من القبائل. One in this tribe, another one in another tribe. They are scattered, distributed. In this city, there's this brother and this sister. Practicing the deed. Handful. النزع من القبائل. In another narration, أناس قليل في ناس سوء كثير. They are few in number. In the midst of multitude of people, wicked people, evildoers. من يعصيهم أكثر ممن يطيعهم. Those who disobey them are more than those who obey them. Those who reject the da'wah, those who reject the haqq, the truth, are more than those who respond positively to the da'wah, to the call. So here the Prophet ﷺ, he described the ghuraba, the strangers. They are few, but Allah with them. And they will remain victorious. They will remain victorious. لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق ظاهرين. So a group of my ummah will remain victorious upon the truth, abiding by the truth. They will not be harmed by those who forsake them, those who betray them, those who leave them. They don't care. They remain holding to the robe of Allah. They keep holding to the robe of Allah and biting the sunnah with the molar teeth and strengthening one another and advising one another. As the early Muslims, وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. They advise each other mutually. Brother, remain steadfast. Brother, remain steadfast. Sister, remain steadfast. They are reminding each other. Our destination is the Jannah by the grace of Allah. Remain patient. So they strengthen each other. And they carry on, taking the beacon of light, the hidayah, the guidance. And they endure and withstand the hardships they face and the adversities they face. So, أناس قليل في ناس سوء كثير. In another narration, there are few who reform, who are pious and righteous when the people are corrupt, and they reform the corruption. They enjoin what is good, and they forbid what is evil. So those are the ghuraba. Those who loved each other for the sake of Allah. those who will be called on the day of resurrection. Those who loved each other for my sake, let them get up. They will stand up. They will be honored by sitting on pulpits made of light, that the prophets and messengers envy them. So for Tuba lil-Ghuraba. So my dear brothers and sisters, the way to the Jannah is full of hardships. And that's what happened to early Muslims, to all the Muslims throughout the history of Dawah. Throughout the history of Dawah. So we should know what we are expecting to come across while in our journey, while marching and traveling. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws our attention to. And He reminded us in many, many ayat in His book that this is the way of salvation. This is what you're going to face, and this is what you're going to come across. Allah says in Surah Al-Ankabut, ayah 1 to 3. Alif Lam Mim. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم فليعلمن الله الذين صدقوا وليعلمن الكاذبين. سبحان ربي العظيم. Alif Lam Mim. Of course, this disjointed letters, only Allah knows the meaning. The closest meaning giving for such, or interpretation or tafsir that was given to such letters, that these are letters challenging the Arabs, telling them that this book is made of these letters, which you know, and also to capture their attention, because this pattern of speech or style was not known to the Arabs. So they hear Alif Lam Mim. So now, what is this Alif Lam Mim? So now they are all ears, then the message is conveyed. But the exact meaning of these letters, only Allah knows. Alif Lam Mim. Do people think, La ilaha illallah, do people think that they will be left alone because they say we believe and will not be tested? And we indeed tested those who were before them. So they are not exception. And Allah will certainly make it known the truth of those who are true, and will certainly make it known the falsehood of those who are liars. Who are liars. So Allah is saying, Alif Lam Mim, أحسب الناس. Do you think by just saying, I believe, do you think it's a lip service? I believe, and then you will be left without being tested, without checking the authenticity of this testimony, without checking your truthfulness, without checking how sincere you are, but just say, yes, I believe. I bear witness there is no deity worthy of worship but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Do you think that's it? That's the beginning. Only you became a Muslim. But then Allah will check you. Are you sincere? Are you truthful? So Allah is saying, أَحَسِبَ النَّاسِ, do people think they will be just left like that and yutraku by saying أَن يَقُولُوا آمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ without being tested? No. Prove to us that you are mu'min. Prove to us, Allah wants you to prove that you are mu'min, you are a true believer. So that's why He tests you. Because life is test. You cannot get a degree without going through the exam. They will not give you a certificate. Oh, he is certified, without having tangible proof that you deserve that piece of paper. That's why they test you. Because they are going to give you a certificate which entitle you to occupy such positions. Okay, you're going to be a leader. So they have to make sure that you are fit for that position. You're qualified for that job. So that's why you have to go through exams. And the most prestigious institutions and educational centers, the toughest the exam will be because they are so reputable. Okay, have such reputation worldwide, Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, okay? So the admission exam is very tough. And then to go throughout all the curriculum, it's not easy. But then when you graduate, oh, he's a graduate of Harvard, graduated from Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, etc. So exam to test you. And that is only in the dunya to enable you and to make you qualify to occupy a position. How about to have the Jannah? Jannah! عرضها السماوات والأرض. You want that cheap, easy? No. You pay the price for it. You have to be qualified, eligible for the Jannah. And that is by being obedient and pious and righteous and abiding by the instructions and the teachings of your Creator, your Lord, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Glory be to Him. حسب الناس أن يتركوا. Do people think they will be left just like that? أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. They say, we believe without being tested. No. That's not the way of Allah. Because Allah tested those who preceded us, those who came. That's why the strangers, not only in Islam, strangers, the prophets were strangers, their followers were strangers. Read the history. See what happened to Moses, Musa alayhi salam. He was a stranger. He left Egypt. He ran away He went to Madian. You know, he came back. He had tough time with Pharaoh. He had tough time later on with his own people. So much so that Allah made them 40 years lingering in the desert. And Moses died during that period. The ulama, they said 40 years, so that generation, the rebellious generation, passed away, died. A new generation came up, whom Allah blessed them of having the Holy Land. Isa alayhi salam, what happened to him? His disciples, what happened to them? Strangers. So Allah is saying, وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. Most certainly, we have tested those who came before them, who preceded them. So this is the way. This is the way. This is the way of the strangers. As Ibn Qayyim said, هذا طريق ناح فيه نوح. ونشر فيه زكريا وقتل فيه يحيى وكسرت رباعية محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. لا إله إلا الله. Ibn Qayyim is saying this is the way. In this way, Noah cried a lot. Noah cried a lot. 950 years Noah, Nuh alayhi salam, was crying, calling his people day and night. This is the way. وَنُشِرَ فِيهِ زَكَرِيَّا. Prophet Zechariah was cut into halves with the soul. He was sown. Imagine, a prophet is cut into halves. وَقُتِلَ فِيهِ يَحْيَى. And John the Baptist was beheaded. Prophets of Allah. And the mollusk tooth of Muhammad was broken in this way. So it's nothing new. This is the way to the Jannah. This is what we expect, and this is what should we prepare ourselves. That these are the things that will happen while you are treading on the path to the Jannah, while you are traveling. وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. And the root fatana means what? And from that root is the fitna. So fatana actually to heat the ore of gold. You know, gold does not exist in pure state. It is mixed with other impurities. So the ore of gold, when it is extracted from the earth, in order to purify it and extract the pure substance of gold, so the goldsmith heats it. So the goldsmith, he heats the metal of gold to remove the impurities and take the pure substance of gold. That is fatana. Fatana dhahab. He heated the gold. So that is the literal meaning of it. Then it is used in the metaphoric sense, figuratively. So Allah heats us, sifts us. He puts us through this long process of testing to remove the impurities and to see the real substance of ours, our real substance. Is this substance pure? Is this heart pure? Or is it polluted, contaminated? Is it pure for him? Or it has other things inside? Hypocrisy, showing off, lack of sincerity. So that's the wisdom behind this fitna, behind this heating process. And of course, when you heat something, okay, then, and you come out of that, after that, you are solid, strong. And that's why the early Muslims, they were tested. They went through tough tests, preparing them for the future, what they are going to face. So the Meccan period was a phase for preparation. So later on, all the hardships they faced, they were nothing. They were trivial in comparison to what they had experienced before. وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ, indeed, and most certainly, and that we tested those who came before them. What for? فَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ, so that Allah knows. But here, doesn't mean that Allah doesn't know, no. But here, the ulama, they say the ilm are two types. The knowledge. Knowledge, Allah knows everything about us. But the knowledge that will be used against us as a proof, So he tests you, put you through the test to verify your truthfulness. Allah knows you. But this is because you are going to argue later on. Argue. So in order to establish hujjah and proof against yourself, so here are your records. You've been tested and you failed. You failed. Imagine a university decided not to give the exam and selected a group of students and say, you pass, others they failed. Now those whom they failed will object. Say, based on what? How did you fail me? Did you examine me? Did you test me? No. So why? I'll file a case and he will file a case and he will win the case. But if he fails after the exam, cannot dare to utter a word. Here, the proof. This is your exam paper. Have a look. These are your answers. So Allah, when he's saying here, this knowledge is not for him, it's for you to establish the evidence against yourself. And Allah will certainly make it known to you, the truth of those who are true, by putting them through the exams. فَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا, through the test. وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it known, the truth of those who are true, and will certainly make it known, the falsehood of those who are liars. Those who are liars. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, in Surah Al-Hajj, see, this talks about people who are not that sincere. So, my dear brothers and sisters, you have to understand that never be surprised. Never be surprised if you see people going back on their heels. Don't be surprised. If you see people are leaving the deen, don't be surprised. Because there was no sincerity here, no ikhlas. So that's why always we need to keep checking ourselves and ask Allah to remain steadfast. Subhanallah. A brother sent me message. There was a brother who's a da'i, and now he is an atheist. So the hearts of mankind are between two fingers of Allah. He flips them the way he wants. He turns them the way he likes, subhanahu wa ta'ala, as he wills. So always keep begging and crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep you remain steadfast in the haqq, in the deen. And never take someone as your role model who's alive. Don't take someone who's alive as your role model. Always take those who passed away as role model. And the best, of course, the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. Don't take someone who's alive as your role model. You never know what will happen to him. If something happened to him, you go back and leave the deen? No. Okay, he went astray. Should I also go astray? No. I know I am on the haqq. I know. He went astray. I pray to Allah to guide him and bring him back. That's it. Not because he went astray, so I have to start to doubt the deen. Oh, because the deen, he found out the deen was wrong. So he left the deen. No, the deen is correct. He went wrong and went astray because he followed his own whims and desires. That's it. He has either he followed his shahawat or shubuhat, one of the two. The reason behind those who go astray, either shubuhat, doubts, they are not that qualified, well established, deeply rooted in the deen, having profound knowledge of Islam, So they received a lot of doubts from the non-Muslims, so they are confused. That's one reason. Or they like to worship their shahwa. So their God is their desires. So they don't want anything to control them. So they follow their whims and desires. So that is their God, the one they worship. So they decided to leave the deen. One of the two. So that's why Ibn Mas'ud said, من كان مقتديا فليقتدي بمن قد مات. من كان مقتديا فليقتدي بمن قد مات فإن الحي لا تأمن عليه الفتنة. If you want to take someone as a role model for you, take someone who passed away on the deen. So now there's no chance that he will leave the deen because he is now in another world and he died upon the deen. So take him as your role model. The Sahaba, the four Imams, Tabi'een. Fine. Those who passed away. Don't take someone who's alive. So if he goes back or she goes back on his heel or her heel, you follow them. فإن الحي, the one who's living, لا تأمن عليه الفتنة. You cannot be sure that he will be safe from the fitna, that he will not go astray. You cannot be sure. That's why, subhanAllah, you see people today, when you listen to the talks before and what they are saying now, you say, subhanAllah, subhanAllah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my dear brothers and sisters, says in Surah Al-Hajj, ayah 11, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ فإن أصابه خير اطمأن به وإن أصابته فتنة انقلب على وجهه خسر الدنيا والآخرة ذلك هو الخسران المبين. And among mankind is he who worships Allah as it were upon the very edge. That is means in doubt. If good befalls him, he is content therewith. But if a trial befalls him, he turns back on his face, which means he goes back to the kufr. He loses both this world and the hereafter. That is the evident loss. Subhanallah. So Allah is saying, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ, and from among mankind, مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ, who worships Allah, عَلَى حَرْفٍ. Harf means the end of something. Okay? This is the edge of something. So you are here at the end. So the likelihood of falling is high. So you are already here, already, not in the middle, at the edge of it. Ala harf. And below is this abyss, the hellfire, the bitter fire. And you are on the end, on the edge of it. فَإِنْ أَصَابَهُ خَيْرٌ اطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ. So some people like that. And أصابه خير اطمأن به. Islam is so sweet. Islam, because nothing happens to him to hurt him. Okay? No test. So if good befalls him, he's happy. He's content therewith. But if a trial befalls him, subhanallah, listen to this. Imam Ibn al-Jawzi, rahimahullah. Ibn al-Jawzi, there are two. Maybe they mix the two. Ibn al-Jawzi is different from Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya. Ibn al-Qayyim is different from Ibn al-Jawzi. Ibn al-Jawzi is the one who wrote many books. He's a Hanbali scholar, and both are Hanbali scholar. And he wrote one beautiful book called Sayd al-Fawaid. Sayd al-Fawaid, literally the hunt of benefits. So this Sayd al-Fawaid, and of course Ibn al-Jawzi was a preacher who would move the heart when he talks. His circle would be attended by thousands of people. Even non-Muslims, they come to listen to his preaching, his sermons, his admonitions, his maw'idah, and they say, he talks like Jesus Christ. The same thing about, they say, Hassan al-Basri, they say. So that's Ibn al-Jawzi. So he mentioned in his book, Sayd al-Fawaid, I don't know if it is translated in English or not, beautiful book. He said, many people we have seen, and they were always in the first row in the masjid, always in the masjid in the first row. They don't miss the salah. But when they were tested, we heard from them things that are unbelievable. He said, one of them, he had one child and Allah took that child. So when the people came to give their condolences, they heard him saying, complaining and saying and objecting, why did you take my son? Didn't you see the children of my neighbors? He had many, and you only chose to take my son. A'udhu billah. A'udhu billah. This is what he was saying. Another one, he was saying, because he was tested and he could not endure the pain, he said, why do you torture me? Why do you torture me? Subhanallah. Torturing you? Who can be more merciful to you than Allah? Who can be? Allah, my dear brothers and sisters, is more merciful than our own mothers. No one can be more merciful than Allah Azza wa Jalla. So now listen to what Allah is saying. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. Those who just worship Allah on the verge, the edge, the verge and the edge of the of a pit, and they fall into the Fitrah. So if good befalls him, he is content therewith. But if a trial befalls him, he turns back on his face. Oh, no, I don't want this deen. So he turns back on his face. So he goes back to the kufr, leaving the Islam. Of course, you leave al-Islam, you lose both this world and the next. And you would regret. And you would say, I wish that I endured that test and remained as Muslim. And Allah, my dear brothers and sisters, out of His own mercy, He knows our weakness. So He tests us according to the strength of our Iman. Our Iman is so weak, so He doesn't test you. Or minor test. Minor test. But if your Iman is strong, then the test will be directly proportional to the strength of your Iman. The strength of your Iman. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ فِتْنَةٌ انقلب على وجهه. He turns back on his face. He goes back on his heel. خسر الدنيا والآخرة. So he loses both. This world and the hereafter. ذلك هو الخسران المبين. That is the evidence. That is the great loss. The great loss is to lose this life and the hereafter. And living and to live in the hellfire forever. That's the great loss. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us remain steadfast in this beautiful deed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthen our iman and your iman. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite our ummah in the haqq and unite our hearts in the haqq. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us our faults and mistakes and ignorance. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with the beneficent knowledge and righteous deeds. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, immensely for your patience and attendance. Barakallahu feekum, jazakum Allahu khayra, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sorry, Sheikh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, yes.
Sorry, Sheikh, we're having a technical issue. Can you give me 1 second? Sorry. I'm gonna check, see if YouTube can hear me now too.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Salim.
I finished my talk.
I know, Sheikh Salim. I've been waiting for Abdullah. I think he's been disconnected for a while. I'm so sorry. Everyone else watching as well. I think Abdullah was not able to. Sorry? Yeah, we can hear you now, Abdullah. We couldn't hear you. Abdullah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now. I don't know what's going on. This connection is being weird.
I'll take it from here.
Okay.
Bismillah wa salatu wa rasulullah. Brothers and sisters, I'm just going to go through questions now. Oh, my bad. There we go. It was double microphone. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the questions now, brothers and sisters. So if you do have questions, post them now, inshallah. And meanwhile, I'm just going to see where we left off from yesterday, the previous session. Sheikh, I asked you a question from a family in India. They had a zakat question regarding their school, their madrasa, that they were in deep debt.
I answered this question.
Yes, we answered this question. So what they came back with was a bit of clarification. They wanted to know, we said that yes, you can have sadaqah given and you can receive sadaqah and you can ask people to give it, and you must have a third body to monitor, to make sure that you don't get into any trouble, etc. They've come back and they've asked about zakat as well. Is zakat applicable to the school?
The zakah, the strongest opinion, they don't fall under that. Because fi sabilillah, mainly it means the jihad. Yeah, though there are some scholars who consider the schools and hospitals and other things that benefit the community, they fall under that, under fi sabilillah. But the opinion of the majority of scholars, fi sabilillah, talks about the jihad, and Allah knows best.
Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh Salim. I hope that answers your question. And if you have any further follow-ups, please do submit them in the group, inshallah, and I'll try to get them answered. Jazakumullah khair. Yes, I just asked that question and Sheikh just answered. So if you missed it, just rewind. You'll be able to watch it. Just rewind the video and you can see it, inshallah. Abdullah, where's the previous questions now? So I'll pick up where we left off. Or Abdullah, can you go ahead and pick up? I'll prepare the new questions. Pick up from where last week's questions were left.
Okay. Well, we had a follow-up question from one of the questions that were asked in our previous session. The one where the question is, mother was sick, but she was not, and the illness might be contagious, and she was not rejecting any visitors or anything. They just wanted to add that their mother is at home, as the risk of infection was higher in the hospital than at home, and she was accepting visitors. And the question is applying the same question, where he doesn't know how to proceed with this, where he should restrict her visitors or not.
The answer, if the case of the sick person is so vulnerable, and it might become worse, then yes, restrict the visitors. Even if the patient himself or herself wants people to come, okay, to see her, but you know for sure, okay, and based on the advice of the doctors, okay, so then yes, control the visitors, and especially nowadays, COVID-19, and every time now a new variant of it. So yes, control the visitors. Next.
Jazakumullahu khair. From last session, that was our final question that was added on, but we are getting more questions from today, so we can start from there, inshallah. Our next question is asking, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To what extent should a male and a female have like a talk and chit chat privately, especially when it comes to mobile on the phone?
Male and female?
Yes, they're asking to what extent can they speak privately, especially on phones, like on a call.
And what is the degree of the relation?
They haven't specified, so I'm guessing that they're not mahram or anything like that.
Zero tolerance. Haram. You don't chat with men. What do you chat for? Tell me. What is the purpose of chatting? You want to chat with a man, but you will exchange recipes? What are you going to cook today? What are you going to talk? Tell me. You're going to talk until you fall in the haram. So in Islam, there's no room for that. No room that you talk with a woman. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, إياكم والدخول على النساء. إياكم, I warn you not to go to a place where there are women. He's warning his companions. ما اختلى رجل بامرأة إلا كان الشيطان ثالثهما. There's a privacy between a man and a woman. And of course, now they are talking, they have privacy. And later on, he will tell her, can we see each other? Can you switch on the camera? And little by little, I'm telling you, this will lead inevitably to zina. Clear. Bit by bit. So Islam blocks the avenue, blocks the way. No way. A man and a woman to talk. But if there is a need, okay, a woman is asking a question to a scholar, to a sheikh, okay, he has to be official, and she has to be official. I have this problem, and that's it. And if you start to soften, oh, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair, hang up, finish, disconnect. Don't joke. And my advice was the dua. Okay. If sisters are calling you a lot, ask your wife to answer them. Ask your wife to answer them. Then they will stop calling you. Next question, please.
Jazakumullahu khair. Our next question is asking, Assalamu alaikum. Can missed prayers be compensated by giving sadaqah, feeding the poor, or building masajid? Or do you have to make up the salah with other salah as the only means?
You cannot compensate. And this shows the ignorance. As if Allah is in need of our money. Okay, I will not pray, but I will pay. What's this? Allah is not in need of our salah. It is for your own sake. So, if you miss prayers, okay, and according to the opinion of the majority of the scholars, you make them up. You have to pray them. Not to give zakah and sadaqah and stuff like that. Next question, please.
Jazakumullahu khair. Our next question is asking, this one's a bit long, I'll have this one shortened and then I'll ask it. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Does smoking a cigarette or vaping after you have broken your fast, does this invalidate the fasts like next, for the next day? And if so, is this only for the next day or is this for an elongated amount of time?
Smoking is haram. It is a sin. And those who are smokers, this is a chance for them to quit smoking, because for hours you are not smoking. But unfortunately, many people, the moment they take a sip of water or one date, immediately they start smoking. May Allah guide them. Does this nullify the fast? No, it doesn't nullify the fast, but he is sinning. He is committing haram. So why should you insist on sinning and disobeying Allah in this holy month? Quit. Pray, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen your iman, to stop smoking. And may Allah guide all those smokers and give them the tawheed to quit smoking. Ameen. Next question, please.
Ameen. Jazakumullahu khair. Our next question is asking, Sheikh, if someone knows that they have evil eye which has disturbed them since they were young, and now they're older and they see the effects more as their life was really disrupted and is still difficult, and only Allah's guidance has brought ease, what can they do to help themselves more, as sometimes even their salah is disrupted, but mostly the problems with their health, and whenever they're trying to be progressive, there is always a hindrance. Jazakallah khair.
Well, I answered this question. I would like to draw the attention of some of our brothers and sisters from certain place in Asia. Because some people are sensitive if you mention the country. This is quite common in that place. Quite common. Everything evil eye, evil eye, evil eye. When it's an evil eye. And the evil eye, the Prophet ﷺ taught us how to protect ourselves. يريد قل هو الله أحد قل أعوذ برب الفلق قل أعوذ برب الناس. And the dua. Get a copy of Husn al-Muslim, the citadel of the Muslim, and memorize the adhkar. Maintain your wudu. Always have wudu. So the dhikr is the protection. But to say I have an evil eye since my childhood, and you live with that belief, and now anything happens, oh, it is because of the evil eye, because of the ayn, and you live in that world and that belief that you have the evil eye. Read in yourself, read Surah Al-Baqarah, read Ayatul Kursi, read the Qul. This is the cure, the remedy. So don't let the shaitan to play with your mind and everything, evil eye, evil eye. Protect yourself, read the ruqya on yourself, seek Allah's protection, and proceed with your life. Next question, please.
Jazakumullahu khair. Our next question is asking about the tafsir of Surah Mutaffifin. They are asking, Assalamu alaikum. I have been reading the tafsir of Surah Mutaffifin and my heart had so many palpitations. I'm worried about my previous trading, dealing where I may not have been fair and just to others. How can I rectify this?
You rectify if we were doing something wrong by sincere tawbah. You repent, ask Allah forgiveness, and you know the conditions of the sincere tawbah, that you regret, you remorse, you intend not to go back, you're determined to lead your life according to what pleases Allah. If you wrong someone, ask him or her forgiveness to forgive you. If you took someone's property, return it, and Allah will accept you. This is the beauty of Islam. The beauty of Islam, that the door is open. The door is open for the tawbah. Anyone who repents, Allah accepts him. So never despair of Allah's mercy. Never despair of Allah's mercy. And have confidence that Allah will accept you. Have husn dhan, good hope about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and good thought about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope this is clear to the questioner.
Jazakumullahu khair.
Yeah.
Our next question is asking, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I have a question about not talking to someone. I know that it is haram to stop speaking to someone for more than 3 days. But what if that person only makes you angry or you have nothing good to say to them? Are you allowed to remain silent with them based on the hadith where you only speak good or you keep silent? Or must you speak? This person is a member of the family, but I always have fights with them or they speak derogatory to me, and so we argue.
No, you don't cut the relation. After 3 days, you say salam alaikum and things like that. But then keep a distance, and talk only if there is a need. So if you are sitting and not talking, it's okay. You don't talk. Who says you have to talk? Oh, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man samata naja," he who keeps quiet most of the time, he will be safe. So one has to control this tongue. Okay. But you say salam and normal, but be official with people who are, they don't know the limits. So just impose the limits. Next.
Jazakumullahu khair. Our next question is asking, Assalamu alaikum. Are there any specific dua to be read during the month of Ramadan that you would recommend?
Apart from what the Prophet ﷺ taught to Aisha, as far as I know, that in the last 10 nights, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni, I don't know anything else. Apart from the normal adiyah, any dua you can say in Ramadan. Next question.
Jazakumullahu khair. The question has a second question asking, if shaitan is locked up in this month, why do people still behave badly doing bad deeds, etc.? And are jinn also locked up as well?
Well, the question, many people, they misunderstand the hadith. The hadith didn't say all shayateen are locked up. It didn't say that. Hadith says maradat al-jinn, the marada are the ones who are most rebellious ones. But they are small, minor, younger ones are free. Okay, so people, they commit zina in Ramadan, they drink alcohol in Ramadan, they do all that, this stuff. Okay. And they are shayateen with us all the time, the qareeb. Okay. So when you see people are sinning, because human being has been given the free will, so no one can stop you from sinning. Yes, in this month, the degree of evil is reduced. A chance for people to come back to Allah is high. So this is a chance for the people, the sinners, to repent. But doesn't mean that people will not sin. People, they do not fast. Many Muslims, they do not fast on Ramadan. Okay? Because the hadith didn't say that there will never be any sin in Ramadan. Hadith didn't say that. I hope this is clear to the questioner.
Jazakumullahu khair. Our next question is asking, Assalamu alaikum. Can one donate their zakah towards building a masjid wudu facility and a boundary wall? Does this count towards their zakah?
No, zakah not for the masajid. Zakah not for the masajid. Next.
Jazakumullah khair. The next question is asking, Assalamu alaikum. If someone is involved in riba, like taking mortgage, and also teaches Quran to others, but when the ayats of riba come, they say that it is a difference of opinion, and for the students to ask a scholar. What is the advice from your side for us?
So the teacher he took a loan or the mortgage, right?
Yes.
So when they ask him, he said there are different opinions about the mortgage. He tries to justify for himself what he did.
Yes, so when it comes to the ayahs of riba, he'll say it's a difference of opinion, and he'll tell the students to go ask a scholar.
Okay, fine. This, if there, he is a teacher, and there's no alternative. Okay, there's no harm in learning from him. He is sinner. Okay, he committed a sin, and maybe he's convinced, or maybe he followed fatwa, because there are fatwas talking about the mortgage, that it is a necessity and stuff like that. Maybe. Okay, so they should not stop learning from him if there is no other alternative, somebody else who is more pious and righteous than this teacher who can teach them. There's no harm in carrying on learning from what he's teaching them. Next.
Jazakumullahu khair. Our next question is asking, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Does zakah have to be given in the form of money, or can one buy food with their zakah money and hand this over to the needy abroad?
If it is zakat mal, it is for the zakah of money, then you give it as money. And then it's up to the poor, because you don't know what is the need of the poor. Maybe he is not in need of food, he's in need of something else. So why you control him? And you say, I know your need. Take this sack of rice. I don't need rice. Give him cash, give him money. This is zakat mal. Okay, but if it is zakat fitr, yes, zakat al-fitr, you give it as food. But zakat mal, give it as money. And the poor, he knows his need. Okay, and he knows what he wants to buy, whether food or clothes or pays the rent or fees. He knows better than anyone else. Is this clear to the question? Next.
Jazakumullahu khair. Our next question is asking, well, they had a follow-up question, but I believe that you had answered this earlier, where they are asking, can the zakah money be used to build a water well?
No.
Our next question is asking, what are the dead doing? Like, what is the status of the dead? Are they?
Zakah, listen to me, my dear brothers. Zakah, Allah distributed it. Just follow that to be on the safe side. Don't say this Sheikh said this Sheikh said that. Next.
Jazakumullahu khair.
Just a quick follow-up question, Sheikh Salim. Sheikh Salim, the question we asked you about inheritance a while back, there was a second part to it. A woman who has passed away, she was a widow, she was a single mom, etc. She passes away. She has a daughter and I think 2 daughters. And are there any shares of those inheritance to the deceased mother's siblings? Is it only the children that get the shares, or
I answered this question before.
Yes, but we didn't ask about the siblings of the deceased.
So send the details, how many, and
Okay.
I will send you the
Right,
details.
Abdullah, go ahead. Next question.
Our next question is asking about the status of the dead. So they're asking, are the dead sleeping in the grave or are they in Sijjin and Illiyin?
The souls are either in Illiyin or in Sijjin, the souls. The bodies are in the grave. And there is a connection between the soul and the body. Okay, and the people, they experience the either the na'im, the blessing of the grave, or the torture of the grave. As Ibn Qayyim said, like the sun, it's far away from you, and you feel its impact on you, its heat. Though the soul is far away, but there is a connection, and Allah knows best. Next.
Jazakumullahu khair. Our next question is asking, can a woman who is on her menses read from the Mus'haf?
Touching the Mus'haf is a controversial issue between scholars. So if she feels that she has to touch the Mus'haf and there is a need, she can wear gloves. But she can read it from the mobile phone, from the iPad, from the computer. And this makes it easy for the sisters. And that's no problem, because you are not touching the Mus'haf itself. But if you don't have any of these devices, and you have the Mus'haf, then you can wear gloves and read. But to read from memory, that is fine, no problem. But touching it, that is where the scholars differed. I hope this is clear to the question now.
Jazakumullahu khair. We have a follow-up question to the question about zakah being given as food for the poor. The questioner is asking, what if it's the charity that understands that a village requires food items because of how poor they are? Can food be bought with zakah for this? And then I'd like to add on to this, maybe that the currency doesn't have much value in this village. So I think where they say that the food is of more value.
We do not dictate to the poor, okay, what to do. Their right, okay, is the money. Zakat mal. This is money. This is their right. I give it to him, and it's up to him what to buy, because he knows what is better for him. He knows. You give him rice. He doesn't want rice. And maybe he will go and take the rice and sell it, give it to the shop with lower price to get cash. His right is the cash, because this is zakat malak. This is the zakat al-mal. This is the zakah of your wealth. So give it to the person. And everyone has to do his homework when it comes to zakah. When it comes to zakah. But if these, for example, okay, for example, I know this particular family as one-to-one case, I know, and what they are in need. If I know that, that's fine. But I cannot impose on them that I will give you something that you are not in need of it. You limit them, give them the freedom, give them the cash, and they will buy whatever they want. And Allah knows best. Next question, please.
Jazakumullahu khair. Our next question is asking, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If I gave my zakah and informed the Sheikh of the masjid that this is zakah, but later on the Sheikh says to me that he used the money to feed people at iftar time, do I have to give my zakah again so that it serves the right purpose as commanded by Allah?
So if you give the zakah and you say to the man, this is zakah, my zakah, and give it to those who are in need, then he is responsible and accountable. If he misused and he spent it not in the way that Allah mentioned, the Imam is accountable. However, if you want to be, and you are well off and you can consider that as sadaqah, and you want to give your zakah and ensure now that it is going to reach those who are in need, that's well and fine, alhamdulillah. Next question. And here we have to keep in mind that when someone tells you something, okay, then you are, okay, entrusted. You cannot change your mind and say, okay, I know better than that person, the donor or the giver. No. He tells you, this is zakah, give it to the poor families. He didn't tell you, buy food for those who are fasting for the iftar. He didn't say that. So you follow what the giver tells you. Next question.
Jazakumullahu khair. It looks like that was the last question, so I believe we will be wrapping up here today, inshallah. For those of you who are watching, these lives are being put on the playlists on the YouTube channel. You can go into the YouTube channel and go into the playlist where you can rewatch any of these lectures if you've missed them, or if you would like to rewatch them, inshallah, with the family, etc. I'd also want to say that if you could share these lives so that the YouTube algorithm will spread our lives to more people can benefit. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you're notified of whenever we're going live in case of the times changing. Right now, it is at 1:30 p.m. UK time. And with that being said, Sheikh, if you have any final words, I can pass it over to you.
Barakallahu fikum, jazakumullah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your siyam. May Allah accept your qiyam. Ameen. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, bless your family, protect you, protect your family, and may Allah elevate your status in this dunya and in Jannat al-Na'im. Ameen. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us remain steadfast on this beautiful day till we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and find him pleased with all of us. Ameen. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us our faults and mistakes and ignorance. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite our ummah in the haqq. Ameen. And may Allah unite our hearts in the haqq. Ameen. Until we meet inshallah tomorrow, I leave you in Allah's company and protection. Bihifdhillahi wa ri'ayatihi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ameen wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I mean, beautiful dua, Sheikh Salim. We love you for the sake of Allah. Just a quick piece of feedback from the class. Some of the students, they send their love and they're very grateful for all the time, especially in Ramadan. And some of the questions that are repeated, we have a very big pool of people, hundreds of people, but different people tune in at different times. So they might miss a question. And there's a lot of episodes. So sincere apologies for the repeated questions as well. But everyone is very grateful that you take the time to answer with such detail. Barakallah fiqh, Sheikh Salim. May Allah make it a high source of sadaqah jari for you in Jannat al-Na'im. Ameen.
Barakallah fiqh. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, please join us tonight, 6 p.m., every day, 6 p.m. Can I quickly just ask, is 6 p.m. too difficult for some of you? Some people have written saying that, oh, I watch it later, I watch it later. Quite a few of you are doing that because you're doing what? Preparing the iftar or running from one place to another. It might be a bad time. So can I get some suggestions of a good time to move the dua from the Quran to? So right now, currently, we're live every day at 6 p.m., so if you'd like us to change that to a different time, if you could please make some suggestions, but I need a lot of them, which means everyone needs to text or email or contact us because it cannot be just 3 people say, oh, can I have it at 1 p.m.? I'm not going to move it. I need to hear from a lot of people so I know, hey, you know what? We'll have a decent audience at this time. Because at 6 p.m. it might be a bit difficult. So let me know, inshallah. May Allah bless you all. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you in a couple of hours. We're getting ready for the 6 o'clock live broadcast, inshallah. Fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح